He interrogated detainees, terrorists, to find out what their plans were. He made sure that if Al-Qaeda was calling into this country, we were listening. And you heard the story about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the so-called mastermind of the 9/11 tragedy. When he was captured, he turned to his captors and he said, "I'll see you in New York with my lawyers." I kid you not, that's what he said. But that's not what happened. No, he saw CIA interrogators and GIs in Guantanamo, just like it ought to be. Well, I do want to bring change to Washington. I know a lot of people in Washington that say that they don't like change there. Well, get used to it. Because if I come to Washington, we're going to change things. We're going to make our healthcare system work for all Americans. We're going to help our schools. We're going to end illegal immigration. We're going to make sure that we're successful in battling global jihad. And that's not just with our arms, although arms we need, strengthen our military we need, but also we have to help moderate Muslims so they can protect the extreme. We got a lot of work to do, and I'm going to bring change to Washington. And by the way, change is going to begin right here in Iowa. It started at the Ames straw poll. You guys did a great job. How many were at the straw poll? There I say, oh my goodness, look at this. You're my heroes right here. Thank you. Thank you. How many are going to be at the caucus voting? Ah, yeah, that's even better. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that change begins here. It's going to roll across the country because this is a campaign about changing Washington and strengthening America. Strengthening America by making sure we have strong families where kids get the values that they need to be successful in America and the world. Strong economy by keeping our taxes down, getting off of foreign oil, making sure that we end our illegal immigration problems so we can protect legal immigration. Strong economy. And finally, strong military. I want more troops. I want better funding for our equipment and our armament for our troops so they can be successful on the battlefield. And I want better care when our men and women come home. And you know I am an optimist. You know that I'm looking at the future of this country with great hope and confidence. America has everything we need to lead the world and to continue to be the hope of the world. We've got great technology. We've got the heart of the American people. I see that wherever I go. I came here the first time, people said, "Do you have heartland values?" Oh, yes, I do. Then I go to South Carolina, they say, "Do you have Southern values?" Oh, yes, I do. I go to Michigan, "Do you have Midwest values?" Oh, yes, I do. And you know what? They're all the same. All right? Because we love our families, we love our God, we love our country, we'll sacrifice for this country, we love hard work, we value education, we're kind to one another. This is a great nation. These values, whatever you call them, these American values are what convinced me that America's future is even brighter than our past. And I want to be a leader that actually leads, that lays out a vision of where we have to go, that tells people the truth, and that makes sure that we strengthen those values for ourselves and our kids and our grandkids. Thank you so much. Jason, oh, you got all over here?
Our first question is from Hillary, who's from Washington.
Hi, Hillary. From Washington? Now, why are we letting someone from Washington ask a question?
Washington, Iowa.
Oh, okay. I was just beating up on Washington. Now we're going to let her speak. Go ahead. Hi, Hillary.
Hello. I have a question about filter issue in my country. I'm concerned about the CIA using enhanced interrogation techniques because I feel like it's really punishing our after report one standard that TV treatment that outlaws.
You know, we don't believe in torture as a society, and Americans will not participate in torture. But we're not going to describe exactly to the foes that we capture exactly what we can and can't do, because we don't want them to understand precisely what that might be. The CIA does have guidelines and rules that they follow, and they follow those based upon the circumstances that are in place. But obviously the circumstances that would be different if there were, as they refer to it, a ticking time bomb. One of my advisors is a man named Cofer Black, who for 25 or 30 years was the head of counterterrorism for the CIA. And they talk about a circumstance where if you know that there is a bomb in America that's going to go off and kill American lives, then what kind of interrogation technique can you use against that individual? And it's different than when you're just asking somebody to get some basic information. He said what you'd like to do, and the best information you get, by working with someone over a long period of time, by becoming friends, by breaking down the normal barriers that exist. That's what they prefer. But if you got somebody and a bomb's going off for an hour, then you have to follow a different course. Torture, no. But precisely what we're going to do and publish that for the bad guys, we're not doing that either. Not in my view. I want to make sure we get the Yes. There's a young lady right there. Yeah.
My question is really about our troops in Iraq.
Yes.
And I have a problem with our soldiers dying there. I don't think our own men will have to patrol the streets, because if the Iraqis want to kill each other, that's fine with me. I mean, we are going to govern the people who are going to use their head and who will want their country to rise from the ashes. So I think my feeling is, if you want, if you could articulate your plan for our troops in Iraq, my first concern is that our troops don't have to guard the streets, and we can always control their economy and make sure that they have the facilities of electric power, water, and all these supplies. And if it needs to be divided, then let it be divided.
Well, first, dividing is they have the ability within their constitution to have states. But the question is, will the country be overtaken by Al-Qaeda or other terror groups and become a safe haven for terror? That's the question, in my view. And fundamentally, we do not want to see Iraq become the kind of safe haven that Afghanistan was under the Taliban. Because if you had a country of Iraq's population and wealth become the safe haven for Al-Qaeda or Hezbollah or any other terror group, then they would, from that position, train, recruit, staff, and launch attacks against us. And the reason we went into Afghanistan was not just to teach them a lesson, but to get rid of that safe haven and to put Al-Qaeda on the run. And so for me in Iraq, one of the key objectives we have to keep in mind is making sure we do not have safe havens there. And our military and the surge they carried out, which was a frontline surge, this was to put our troops out there first, was to lock down the country in some respects and to keep a safe haven from being established. And fortunately, Sunnis saw us and said, you know what, we're going to help you get rid of Al-Qaeda. And so the blood and sacrifice of our men and women over these last months during this surge has not been wasted. It has helped protect our people. And that's why I support the surge. I also support seeing us begin to bring our troop level down. General Petraeus says he can do that beginning after the first of the year, about 1 brigade every month. I think you're going to see it keep coming down after that as the Iraqi military takes the frontline responsibility, and General Petraeus says we're going to take the overwatch responsibility. That's a support role: intelligence support, logistics support, aerial support. So we'll be, if you will, behind the lines, and they'll be on the front lines. And over time, you're going to see us playing more and more of a support role, I hope, as the Iraqis themselves are able to protect themselves. But it's key for us not to precipitously withdraw in the sort of Barack Obama style and leave behind an Al-Qaeda stronghold or that for any other group that could come back to threaten our future and launch attacks against America. Thank you. You got a big enough voice, you don't need to use the microphone.
You
right?
got it. I think the last two questions indicates how poorly the American people are informed on the success that we're having in Iraq and Afghanistan, and also in how successful our interrogations go in Gitmo, and that those people are treated fairly. In fact, one of the ways that they get their information is with McDonald's products. They like McDonald's, they like ice cream, and as a result they give out information. And torture is not being used. As president, I'd like to see something like this where